Yo, this is KJ Osborne, wide receiver from the Minnesota Vikings. You're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Coach Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com. We've talked about closing out games, the importance to attention to detail in those moments for your group to be able to do that tonight against the defending champs. Just how big was that for them and the growth you've seen out of them tonight?
Well, the great part about it for these guys is it was an immediate response. Right, to the other night, understanding what they had to do to execute down the stretch, getting timely stops, and then obviously offensively executing the things that we needed to get done.
Coach, just kind of building off that point. It wasn't a straight line to get there. They were up 4. Golden State hits that 3. They get a chance to score at the end. They're up. I forget how much you're up by, and Golden State kind of keeps fighting back. What does it say about this team that even with the first 8 games, you guys were able to kind of bounce back and recover the way that you did and close this game out?
This group is so resilient, and that's the discussion we had prior to the game. We had that discussion post-Oklahoma City game, understanding the moments. It's going to be a game of runs. It's a game of flows, and you have to understand to stay the course no matter what and do the simple things. We always talk about dominating the simple, and those were part of the things we did down the stretch.
Coach, Melissa Thomas with Florida National News. Kind of talk about how what you saw in Jalen Suggs tonight, especially right there down to the wire at the end of the fourth quarter. He seemed to kind of hit another gear. Kind of talk about that.
Well, that's who he's been. He is a fierce competitor, and that's what we've asked him to become. Obviously stepping into the moment, guarding, some of the better players out there, and then offensively just being able to settle things down and taking what the defense gives him. But he is a fierce competitor, and that's what you love about him.
Jamahl, going back to Phil's point earlier, to do it against this team, obviously, one that is the defending champs, but one that can throw several punches in a row. What is the value of that for this team so early on?
Again, I really believe it is part for our guys to understand of staying the course no matter what happens in a 48-minute game. We saw what happened the other night, and they learned from that. Understanding that you have to play it down the stretch, you have to do the dominating, the simple plays, and our guys did that.
Late in the game, Jalen hits the 3, and then he had the steal, and he turned around and he hugged you real quick, and you were yelling something at him. What were you saying to him? Was that more calm him down, or was that more just? It was
a winning play, but the biggest thing was just go knock the free throws down. Right? Just go knock the free throws down and stay in the moment, right? It's not over till that horn goes off, but just his excitement and his joy for getting back on the floor was, what I'm most excited about, and we're most excited about for him.
Coach, I'm sure the headlines are going to be a lot about Jalen Suggs, about Paolo Banchero heating up in the third, but what credit can you give to the bench guys? They provided a lot of effort, a lot of hustle throughout that early second half. Kevon Harris, Chuma Okeke, a lot of offensive rebounds. Talk about what they brought to the team today.
Between the bench and our fans, it was, electric and exciting. I mean, we're not in that first quarter if Chuma Okeke doesn't come in there and knock down some big shots. We don't sustain the effort if Kevon Harris doesn't come in there and do a great job defensively and grab a couple offensive rebounds. We're not in the game if RJ doesn't come off the bench and play his minutes strongly and make some key plays. So that goes a testament to those guys staying ready and stepping into the big moment, not being afraid.
Jamahl, what were you seeing from Paolo in that third quarter? It seemed like he really was just putting the points on the board that helped you guys stay in it, and before he made that big push to tie the game, eventually take over for the win.
Well, as the game goes on, he's finding his times to when he can go and not go. Early on, he was being very aggressive early, and then he was understanding how they were playing him. So as the third quarter came, he recognized some of the plays and how they were playing him. So he was allowed to get downhill on some of those second plays.
For, you've been around the league, how rare is it for a rookie to recognize those moments? It's hey, let me slow down. Now I can speed back up.
He's special. He's very special. The way he recognizes the game, the way he sees the game. And, again, he's going to continue to grow in that light and continue to get better.
Hey, Jamahl, did you see more of a focused team tonight? They didn't really let the past affect. Wendell got that tech turnover. They didn't really let it affect them. What'd you see about the focus?
I'm so proud of these guys for that. We talked about it right before the game, understanding the game of runs and staying in the moment. And as soon as it happened, they recognized it. They brought each other together. They talked about it. We talked about it in the huddle, understanding that they've been there before, and then they came out and executed down the stretch.
When you look back to Jalen, obviously he's just a couple games coming back from that injury. How much does that show just the work and that itch to get back into the game, and how much is paying off when you're that quick return to come back in and see the results pay off like that?
Well, there's so many parts to that. One is our performance staff does an amazing job trying to get these guys back on the floor. Two, it shows his commitment to wanting to get back, and the job our coaches did with him with film and extra work. It just shows that their commitment to that.
Coach here in the back, when timeout's called, you spend the first 30 seconds or a minute talking to your coaches. So what you don't see is the players that aren't in uniform, not playing, really not getting after the guys, but really enthusiastic about what's going on and stuff like that. Talk about that camaraderie and really what it does for those guys before you get in there and give those final instructions.
We've said this group is going to do it by committee, and that's what it means. Whether you're playing, whether you're not playing, whether you're on the IR, these guys are lifting these guys up. You have Gary, Cole, Markel, J.I., Mo. Like, they're all talking about the things that they see and helping get these guys to understand the flow of the game and how they see things. I think it's fantastic. It does so much. It's just more coaches as much as possible. We already have 12 coaches. Now we have like 15 more.
Thank you, Coach Mosley.
Thank you, guys.